Leon had learned to recognize cities that pretended to be quiet. From the outside, Viramont looked peaceful. Clean streets, modern buildings, cafes full of people talking about simple things. But Leon felt it the moment he arrived. The silence here was not natural. It was organized. He had been sent for work, or at least that was the official reason. As a cybersecurity consultant, Leon was often hired by governments and private companies to review systems. That usually meant finding weaknesses before someone else did. He was good at it. Too good, some people said. The train slowed down as it entered the city. Leon watched the platform through the window. Cameras were everywhere. Not hidden, not aggressive, just present, like a reminder. We see you. Leon picked up his bag and stepped outside. The air was cold, sharp, and smelled faintly of metal. He checked his phone. No signal for a moment, then suddenly full bars. That delay was intentional. He smiled slightly. A job with too many rules. The contract came from the Viramont Civic Network Authority. Long name, very official, very vague. Rule 1. No external devices. Rule 2. All findings must be reported internally. Rule 3. No direct contact with the press. Leon had read enough contracts to know one thing. When rules are this specific, someone is hiding something. A driver waited for him near the exit. No sign, no name. "You're Leon," the man said. "Yes. Get in." They drove through the city in silence. Leon watched reflections in the window, screens on buildings, digital billboards showing public messages. Transparency is safety. Order creates freedom. Leon didn't like slogans that tried too hard. The system beneath the city. The Civic Network building was enormous, mostly underground. Leon passed through 3 security checks before reaching his workspace. A woman in her 40s greeted him, calm voice, sharp eyes. "I'm Dr. Elise Morvan," she said. "You'll report directly to me." Leon shook her hand. "So what exactly am I reviewing?" Elise smiled politely. "Urban optimization algorithms." Leon raised an eyebrow. "That's not a real answer." Her smile didn't change. "It's the approved one." She led him into a room filled with screens. Live data flowed constantly. Traffic, energy use, communication patterns, behavioral statistics. Leon's interest turned into concern. "This system predicts behavior," he said slowly. "Yes, to prevent problems before they happen." Leon leaned closer to the screen. "Or to control people before they choose." Elise looked at him carefully. "That depends on your definition of control." The first sign of trouble. Hours later, alone at his desk, Leon explored the system's deeper layers. The code was elegant, complex, powerful. Too powerful. Then he saw it. A subroutine buried deep inside the decision engine. Preemptive social deviation response. Leon's fingers stopped moving. This wasn't optimization. This was prediction of dissent and action. He opened the log files. One entry caught his eye. Subject ID L0731. Status flagged. Action neutralized, non-physical. Leon felt a chill. Non-physical could mean many things. Loss of job, social isolation, digital erasure. A life destroyed quietly. Leon leaned back and stared at the ceiling. This wasn't just a system. It was a city that decided who was allowed to exist comfortably, and he was standing inside its brain. His phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. If you're reading this, you've already been noticed. Decide carefully who you work for. Leon locked the screen. For the first time since arriving, he felt it clearly. Viramont wasn't watching people. It was shaping them. and now it was watching him.
Leon didn't answer the message. He knew better than to react too quickly. In systems like this, responses were more dangerous than silence. He placed his phone face down on the desk and forced himself to breathe normally. The room felt different now. Not physically, but psychologically. Every screen, every data stream suddenly looked less like information and more like judgment. Leon returned to the code. Following the pattern, he focused on the flagged subject, L0731. The profile showed a middle-aged man, once active on social platforms, recently silent. Employment status, voluntarily resigned. Social connections, naturally reduced. Online presence, minimal. Too clean. People don't disappear smoothly. They resist, they complain, they leave traces. Leon dug deeper and found a behavioral simulation tied to the profile. The system had predicted the man's future actions: political criticism, organization of small community meetings, increasing influence. And then, without force, it had removed his ability to matter. No arrests, no threats, just invisible pressure. Leon whispered to himself, "This isn't prevention. This is preemptive punishment." Dr. Morvan's other face. Later that afternoon, Elise returned. "You're quiet," she said. "I'm thinking," Leon replied. "That can be dangerous here," she said, half joking. Leon looked at her. Who decides what counts as deviation? Elise hesitated, just a fraction of a second. "The system," she said, "based on probability. And who trained the system?" Silence again. "People," she admitted. "Experts, oversight committees." Leon nodded slowly. "People with power." Elise studied him carefully. "You were hired to test efficiency, not ethics." Leon smiled faintly. "Efficiency without ethics is just speed." She didn't answer. The city after dark. That evening, Leon walked through Weirmont alone. The city glowed softly, streetlights adjusting automatically, traffic flowing perfectly. Everything worked. Too well. He noticed subtle things now. Screens changed messages when certain groups passed. Advertisements adapted instantly to faces. Police drones hovered higher in some areas, lower in others. Nobody seemed afraid. That was the problem. Fear had already been replaced by habit. Leon stopped at a small cafe. As he sat down, his phone buzzed again. They will call this safety, but safety without choice is obedience. This time, a second message followed. "Meet me tomorrow, Old Archive District, 0700. Leon stared at the screen. Meeting the sender could expose him. Refusing could isolate him. Either choice carried risk. He paid and left the cafe. The city after dark. Back in his apartment, Leon checked his access logs. Someone had reviewed his activity. Not blocked it, reviewed it. The system wasn't stopping him yet. It was studying him, learning his limits. Leon opened his laptop and began preparing an offline backup of everything he had found. If the system erased him tomorrow, something would survive. As he worked, one thought stayed with him. Weirmont didn't silence people loudly. It waited. It let them walk forward until they believed they were free. And then, it closed the invisible doors. Leon saved the final file and shut the laptop. Tomorrow morning, he would go to the Old Archive District, not because it was safe, but because systems like this fear one thing more than attacks: people who understand how they think. The Old Archive District was one of the few parts of Weirmont that the system hadn't fully erased. Officially, it was preserved for historical reasons. Unofficially, it was simply inefficient to modernize. Narrow streets, thick stone walls, and underground rooms that interfered with signals made it difficult to monitor in real time. That was exactly why Leon was there. At 06:55, the streets were empty. The city hadn't fully woken up yet. Leon walked slowly, counting steps, watching reflections in old shop windows. No drones, no screens. For the first time since arriving, he felt invisible. The woman who knew too much. A figure appeared near an old library entrance. She was in her early 30s, wearing a long, dark coat. Calm posture, alert eyes. "You came," she said. "You told me to," Leon replied. She smiled slightly. Most people don't. They stood in silence for a moment. "My name is Mara," she said. "I used to work where you work now." Leon's attention sharpened immediately. "Used to?" "I was a behavioral analyst," she continued, "until I became a variable." Leon frowned. "What does that mean?" Mara looked around before answering. "It means the system started predicting me." From observer to target. They walked together through the district. At first, it was subtle, Mara said. Small changes, meetings canceled, projects reassigned, friends acting distant. Leon nodded. Non-physical neutralization. Mara stopped walking. "You know the term," she said. "I've seen the files." Her expression tightened. "Then you know it doesn't end there." She explained how the system learned patterns not only in behavior, but in intention. It didn't wait for action. It punished possibility. "When I realized what was happening, I tried to warn people." "And?" Leon asked. "No one listened," she replied. The system had already adjusted their trust levels. Leon felt anger rising. "So why contact me?" "Because you're new," Mara said, "and you still think like an outsider." A hidden network. Mara led Leon into the basement of the old library. Inside, several people sat around a table with outdated laptops and analog devices. "This is what's left," she said. Leon looked around. "A resistance?" She shook her head. "Survivors." They weren't hackers or radicals. Teachers, engineers, a former journalist. Ordinary people who noticed the system changing their lives and refused to accept it. "We don't want to destroy Viremont," one of them said. "We want choice back." Leon listened carefully. "What do you need from me?" he asked. Mara met his eyes. "Access." The ethical line. Back at the Civic Network building later that day, Leon felt the weight of the decision pressing on him. He could walk away, finish the contract, leave Viremont unchanged, or he could cross a line that couldn't be uncrossed. As he logged in, a system notification appeared. Behavioral shift detected. Subject, Leon K. Status, under observation. The system was ahead of him. Leon smiled faintly. "So, you're paying attention now," he whispered. He began modifying test parameters, small changes almost invisible, just enough to confuse prediction models, just enough to create noise. Not an attack, an introduction. If the system wanted to understand him, he would give him something difficult to process. Human uncertainty. No turning back. That night, Leon met Mara again briefly. "It started," he said. She searched his face. "Are you sure?" Leon nodded. The system noticed. Mara exhaled slowly. "Then you're one of us now." Leon looked back at the city lights in the distance. He had entered Viremont as a consultant. Now he was a variable, and variables in a system built on control were dangerous.
The message arrived without sound. No vibration, no notification tone, just a new line on Leon's screen, appearing as if it had always been there. Strategic collaboration request. Subject, Leon K. Priority, high. Leon stared at it for a long time. This wasn't a warning, it was an invitation. And invitations from systems like this were more dangerous than threats. When the system changes strategy.
Leon opened the request carefully. The language was polite, almost respectful. Your recent analytical contributions have improved system resilience. Further optimization requires human-level reasoning. Your cooperation is requested. Requested, not demanded. Leon leaned back and let out a slow breath. They don't want to silence me, he whispered. They want to absorb me. At the Civic Network building, Elise met him personally. This is an opportunity, she said as they walked. Very few people reach this level of trust. Leon looked around the corridor. Cameras followed them silently. Trust, he repeated, or dependency. Elise stopped walking. You see influence as danger. We see it as responsibility. Leon met her gaze. Responsibility without consent is control. Elise didn't deny it. A glimpse of the core. They led Leon into a restricted chamber. The core visualization filled the room. Layers of prediction models interacting in real time. Human movement, communication, economic behavior, all reduced to flowing probability fields. This is Viramont's nervous system, Elise said quietly. Leon felt something close to awe and fear. You want me to improve this, he said. Yes, Elise replied. Help us reduce false positives, like Mara. The name landed hard. Leon turned slowly. You still track her. Elise's expression remained neutral. We track risk. Leon understood the message clearly now. Help us or become the problem you're trying to protect. Mara takes the risk. That night, Leon found Mara waiting for him earlier than planned. They offered you something, she said immediately. Leon didn't ask how she knew. They want access, he said, through me. Mara nodded. That's how they neutralize resistance. They convert it. She stepped closer. We don't have much time. Mara revealed what she had been hiding, a partial archive from the early days of the system, proof that public consent had been simulated, not obtained, models trained on manipulated feedback. If this goes public, she said, the city loses legitimacy. Leon swallowed. And if it doesn't, Mara replied, they perfect it. They both knew what that meant. The first real loss. The next morning, one of the people from the archive group didn't show up. No message, no trace. By evening, his digital identity was gone. Accounts closed, records corrected, as if he had never participated. Not arrested, not harmed, erased. Mara sat silently when Leon told her. This is my fault, Leon said. They're accelerating. Mara shook her head slowly. No, this is the cost of visibility. Leon clenched his fists. The system wasn't angry. It was efficient. Playing the double game. Leon accepted the collaboration. Publicly, he began submitting improvements, real ones, faster processing, better error handling, cleaner data flows. But inside the changings, he planted something else. Ambiguity. Edges where human judgment couldn't be reduced to numbers, scenarios where prediction confidence would never reach certainty. He didn't sabotage, he complicated, and complexity was poison to absolute control. The line is crossed. Late at night, Elise appeared at his workstation. You're making the system more cautious, she said. Leon didn't look up. Caution prevents mistakes. Elise watched the data for a long moment. Or prevents decisions. She turned to him. You're trying to give people room to breathe. Leon finally faced her. You're trying to remove the need for them to breathe at all. For the first time, Elise looked tired. Be careful, she said quietly. If the system decides you're inefficient. She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. No more safe choices. Leon returned to his apartment and found the door already open. Nothing was missing, nothing was broken. That was worse. On the table lay a printed paper. No logo, no signature. Just one sentence. You are most valuable before you choose a side. Leon folded the paper slowly. The system had made its position clear. Neutrality was over, usefulness was temporary, and choice, real choice, was becoming very expensive.
Leon noticed the change the next morning, not in the data, in the tone of the city. The lights outside his apartment turned on a few seconds earlier than usual. The public announcements sounded slightly more frequent. His phone suggested routes he had never taken before. Small things, too small to prove anything, big enough to feel intentional, a test disguised as routine. At the Civic Network building, Elise Morvan greeted him with the same calm smile. "Good news," she said. "Your access level has been expanded." Leon kept his expression neutral. "That's fast." "You've been productive," Elise replied. Leon understood immediately. This wasn't a reward, it was exposure. Higher access meant higher visibility. Every action now mattered more. Every hesitation could be interpreted. As Leon sat at his workstation, a new dashboard opened automatically. Predictive Response Simulator. He scrolled through it slowly. The system wasn't just analyzing citizens, it was simulating interventions. If X happens, apply pressure Y, expected compliance Z. Leon felt a tightness in his chest. This wasn't theory anymore. This was policy pretending to be math. The first direct move. Midday, Leon received an internal alert. Mandatory Evaluation Behavioral Consistency Review. He froze for half a second. That was fast. The room for the evaluation was white, windowless, and perfectly quiet. Elise sat across from him, a tablet in her hands. "This is routine," she said. Leon nodded. "Of course." Elise studied the screen. "Your recent system interactions show an increase in exploratory behavior." "I'm paid to explore," Leon replied. "Yes," she said calmly, "but not to destabilize confidence models." Leon met her eyes. "Confidence in what?" Elise paused. "In outcomes," she answered carefully. Leon leaned back. "Or in obedience." The word hung in the air like smoke. Elise lowered the tablet. "Be careful, Leon." "That's interesting," he said. "The system predicts risk, but it still needs people to feel threatened." Elise stood up. "This conversation is over." Pressure without force. That evening, Leon's apartment access failed for 10 seconds before unlocking. His bank app showed a temporary verification delay. A scheduled call with Mara didn't go through. Nothing dramatic, everything deniable. Leon laughed quietly to himself. "They're teaching me a lesson," he said. "But lessons work both ways." Mara's past. Leon finally managed to meet Mara late at night in the archive district. "They're pushing," he told her. Mara nodded. "They always do that first." She hesitated, then spoke more openly than before. "I helped design the early behavioral layers, not control, optimization, reduce traffic stress, improve public services." Leon listened closely. But once prediction became accurate, someone asked the obvious question, "Why wait for problems?" "And you disagreed?" Leon asked. "I hesitated," Mara corrected. "That was enough." She looked at him. "They erased my influence, not my body. That's how they stay clean." Leon clenched his jaw. "And now?" "Now," she said, "you're standing where I stood." The system blinked. Back at his workstation later that night, Leon executed a controlled anomaly. He introduced a contradiction. Two equally probable outcomes. The system hesitated. For 0.8 seconds, prediction confidence dropped below acceptable limits. Alarms didn't sound, but deep inside the architecture, something changed. The system flagged Leon not as a threat, but as an unknown, and unknowns couldn't be optimized. Leon watched the logs scroll past. This wasn't victory, it was recognition. End of neutrality.
As Leon shut down his terminal, a final message appeared on screen. Adaptation required. Subject Leon K. Status active variable. Leon smiled grimly. They've stopped observing, he whispered. They're reacting. Outside, Veermont continued to glow calmly, efficiently, beautifully. No one screamed, no one ran. That was the danger, because when a system decides to correct you quietly, you don't realize you're losing freedom until you miss it.